first and foremost, I should tell you that I have a major scoop regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their newest legal plan, or something that they were...
You're not kidding when you say this is getting messier. The author of that book deleting her Instagram account, another who plays Baldoni's sister in the film, being harassed online.
Let's dive straight into the drama that has everyone in Hollywood buzzing and the internet completely hooked. Picture this. Blake Lively, one of the most talked about stars of her generation, filing a complaint that immediately sends shockwaves through the entertainment industry. And just like that, Liz Plank, a known advocate for women's rights and co-host of a popular platform, quits her position in what looks like a bold public declaration of solidarity with Blake. But is there more to this than meets the eye? Was Liz truly standing up for a friend? Or was she swept up in a whirlwind of manipulation orchestrated by a power couple desperate to control the narrative? Hold on to that thought because this rabbit hole runs deep.
And so Liz Plank was a perfect person for them to go after because first and foremost, if you don't know anything about her, I had never heard her name before this scandal. She's kind of branded herself as like the ultimate feminist. You know, she is also Canadian and everything that she does, like I think she majored in women's studies at McGill University, and she's very carefully done work as a big supporter of gender equality.
As the story unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Blake Lively's once pristine reputation is starting to crack under the weight of her own actions. People are beginning to connect the dots, and what they're finding is far from flattering. From her icy demeanor during press junkets to resurfaced allegations of her being difficult to work with on past sets, it seems that Blake's mean girl persona is no longer Hollywood's best kept secret. But the real kicker, a leaked tape where she openly discusses her tactics to manipulate those around her for creative control of projects. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just hearsay or tabloid gossip. This is Blake, in her own words, essentially admitting to the kind of behavior that's now the centerpiece of her legal battle with Justin Baldoni. Talk about self-sabotage.
And ladies and gentlemen, just buckle up. This is amazing. If you really want to get into how psychotic Ryan Reynolds is, the fact that he cast her as an expert for this will really clarify that for you, okay? I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be something important. No, she appeared as an expert to deliver to audiences what the definition of a bromance is.
And then, just when you think the drama couldn't get juicier, Candace Owens steps into the fray with bombshell revelations that turn this entire saga on its head. Owens, a firebrand in her own right, doesn't mince words. She unveils a trove of evidence suggesting that Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, and one half of Hollywood's favorite power couple may be pulling more strings behind the scenes than anyone realized. According to Owens, Ryan's controlling behavior toward Blake has been a massive issue behind closed doors and could even explain some of her erratic and questionable decisions throughout this legal mess. It's a bold claim, but Owens insists she has the receipts to back it up. Messages, videos, insider accounts, the whole 9 yards.
I heard on very good authority that the same was done to Liz Plank, okay? So they primed her, got her as an expert of bromance. Serious expert of bromances, put her on the show. She's a perfect candidate. She's a feminist. And then they tried to pull the Me Too button. She instantly took their side, jumped off of the podcast with him, made a statement.
Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan's legal team are reportedly scrambling to keep a lid on things. They're not just fighting one battle here. They're fighting on multiple fronts. On one hand, they're trying to enforce a gag order to stop Justin Baldoni from releasing text messages and other evidence that could be damning for Blake. On the other, they're allegedly going after insiders who've dared to speak out against them. It's a full-on scorched earth policy, but here's the million-dollar question. If Blake and Ryan are so confident in their innocence, why are they going to such extreme lengths to silence others? What are they so afraid of? The public isn't buying it, and frankly, neither are some of Hollywood's biggest players.
And then they basically asked her to join in as a plaintiff. And what I was told was like Jenny Slate said, hell no. Her and her people have obviously gone through everything, have read the lawsuits, like a fuller picture rather than just Blake's emotions. And they do not want to go anywhere near this with a 10-foot.
Take Liz Plank's abrupt departure, for example. At first glance, it seemed like an act of loyalty to Blake, but as more details emerge, people are starting to question Liz's motives. There's speculation that Ryan Reynolds might have had a hand in her decision. According to online sleuths, Ryan allegedly has a knack for love-bombing people, showering them with attention, opportunities, and praise until they're firmly in his corner. But here's the twist. This isn't just about winning allies. Observers believe it's part of a larger strategy to isolate the real target, in this case, Justin Baldoni. By positioning Liz as a loyalist, Ryan and Blake may have hoped to create an echo chamber of support, making it harder for Baldoni to defend himself. And Liz, whether knowingly or not, played right into their hands. It's a theory that's gaining traction, especially after a TikToker named Steph with the deets dug into the timeline and pointed out some inconsistencies. Shady, right?
Poll, and so they are behind the scenes, not just lobbying. Allegedly, Jenny Slate, also Liz Plank, they are literally looking for any individual that will jump on board and solidify her statements that Justin Baldoni is a creep, and they are routinely and continually coming up dry because that's what happens when you lie.
But it doesn't stop there. Enter Ari Emanuel, one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood, who publicly throws his weight behind Blake and Ryan. On the surface, this seems like a huge win for the couple. After all, if you've got billionaires and media moguls in your corner, who cares about public opinion, right? But here's the thing, people are starting to see through this facade. Social media is flooded with comments questioning whether Blake and Ryan are just playing nice with the right people to shield themselves from accountability. Of course they're friends with Ari Emanuel, one commenter wrote. They're probably buddy-buddy with Oprah and Mark Zuckerberg too. But what about everyone else they've stepped on along the way? And speaking of everyone else, let's talk about the insiders who've come forward to share their experiences with Blake. These aren't just random gossipers looking for their 15 minutes of fame. These are former colleagues, crew members, and even co-stars who've had first-hand encounters with her. From calling herself untouchable to allegedly threatening to ruin careers, the stories paint a picture of someone who's far from the bubbly, approachable persona she's cultivated in the media. One resurfaced clip from a press junket shows Blake and actress Parker Posey dismissively laughing at a journalist's question, an interaction so uncomfortable that the journalist later said it made her want to quit the industry altogether. Ouch.
And we're now all paying attention. So I'm just going to very quickly, before I give you all of the tea that I got over the weekend, I'm going to go over the biggest revelations from the filing.
The revelations keep piling up. Blake's behavior during the press tour for It Ends With Us is another sore spot. Critics have slammed her for promoting her lifestyle brand at a premiere for a film tackling sensitive social issues. One particular moment that drew outrage was when she named a cocktail after a controversial character in the movie. To many, it came across as tone-deaf at best and outright offensive at worst. And yet, Blake's team seems more focused on damage control than genuine accountability. Their legal strategy, as insiders describe it, is less about proving innocence and more about silencing dissent. But the harder they push, the more questions arise.
And one of the most significant allegations in Baldoni's lawsuit is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film. This is important.
Even Blake's closest friends have been dragged into the fray. Her co-stars from the sisterhood of the Traveling Pants franchise, America Ferrera, Amber Tamlin, and Alexis Bledel, penned a heartfelt letter of support, describing Blake as a courageous leader who fought for a safe workplace. It's a touching sentiment, but not everyone is convinced. Critics argue that the letter feels more like a PR movie than a genuine stand, especially given the timing. And let's not forget, public support from friends doesn't erase the mountain of evidence stacking up against her. Then there's the alleged website takedown. According to reports, Blake and Ryan's team tried to shut down a site planning to release incriminating texts and videos. If the content was fake or misleading, why not just debunk it? Why go to such lengths to erase it from existence? This move has only fueled speculation that the couple has something to hide. And with every attempt to suppress information, the public grows more skeptical. If these texts and videos are as damning as sources claim, they could change everything. But for now, the question remains, what is Blake so afraid of?
Sidebar, Blake Lively's team has denied all of these allegations. They have responded to this filing, this lawsuit, saying,
as the narrative spirals further out of their control, Blake and Ryan find themselves in an increasingly precarious position. Their attempts to paint themselves as victims of a smear campaign are falling flat, and their heavy-handed tactics are starting to backfire. The more they try to silence Baldoni and others, the more they look like they've got something to hide. It's a classic case of the Streisand effect. The harder you try to cover something up, the more attention it gets. And yet, despite all the chaos, Blake and Ryan are doubling down. Their legal team isn't just fighting Baldoni. They're going after anyone who dares to question their narrative. It's a bold strategy, but one that could ultimately backfire spectacularly. Because in the court of public opinion, actions speak louder than words. And right now, their actions are screaming guilt.
Justin won't be bullied by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So his lawyer told us that their recent court filings show how scared.
The stage is set for an epic showdown, and all eyes are on Hollywood's most controversial power couple. But with every new revelation, one thing becomes painfully clear. The truth will not stay buried for long. So what's next for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? Will they manage to claw their way out of this PR nightmare, or are they on a collision course with career-ending fallout? All right, buckle up because this story only gets wilder from here and the twists keep coming. If you thought the drama surrounding Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni couldn't become any messier, well, think in. Let's pick up where we left off. Blake and Ryan are in full damage control mode, desperately trying to control the narrative. But here's the kicker. Their every move seems to be blowing up in their faces. So what's really going on behind the scenes?
And he says, like, look, this is just, Hollywood is based on pure fear, cultivated by both of them and their very powerful friends in entertainment.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of Candace Owens' involvement. She's not just throwing out vague accusations, she's dropping what she claims are receipts, and boy, are they explosive. Owens has pointed directly to Ryan Reynolds as a key player in this chaos, accusing him of being the puppet master pulling the strings behind Blake's sudden legal moves. According to Owens, Ryan has been orchestrating Blake's defense and allegedly controlling every aspect of their strategy with an iron grip. This paints a picture of a couple so determined to shield themselves from fallout that they're willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means stepping on a few toes or, in this case, taking on an entire industry. Owens has even hinted that Ryan's obsession with managing this crisis has been a long-running issue in their marriage, claiming it's why Blake has made some questionable decisions throughout this entire ordeal. But the question remains, is Ryan protecting his wife, or is he simply trying to protect himself? Either way, Candace's revelations have added gasoline to an already raging fire, sparking even more questions about the couple's true motives.
Yes, this is exactly what I want, a puppy to kick in the mouth. And you'll do what I say. So I'm going to show you these exchanges. This is Ryan Reynolds.
Meanwhile, Blake's support system is rallying, or at least they're trying to. Her longtime friends and former co-stars from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants franchise, America Ferrera, Amber Tamblyn, and Alexis Bledel, wrote a heartfelt letter defending her character. They describe Blake as a loyal friend and a fearless advocate for workplace safety, citing her efforts to ensure a respectful environment during the filming of It Ends With Us. But here's where it gets tricky. The public isn't entirely convinced. A large chunk of the internet believes this letter feels more like a coordinated peer move than a genuine statement of support. After all, timing is everything, and this letter came just as Blake's reputation was teetering on the edge of collapse. Suspicious, right?
If you look at this scene that was captured on tape, you'll see there's nothing nefarious going on. She says this actually proves her point. There's an argument that she is hiding her discomfort with what he's saying and doing, and she's just trying to finish the scene like any kind of professional. Which way you take it, which way you perceive it, again, that'll be up to a jury or the...
And let's not forget about the website fiasco. Reports suggest that Blake and Ryan's team made an aggressive move to shut down a website that was allegedly preparing to release damning evidence against them. The site was rumored to host text messages, video clips, and insider accounts that could expose the couple's behind-the-scenes behavior. Now, here's the question everyone's asking. If the content on this website was fake or fabricated, why not just discredit it publicly? Why go to such extreme lengths to have it taken down? This move has only fueled speculation that the couple is hiding something big, something they're terrified will destroy their carefully crafted image. And speaking of image, let's talk about Blake's latest PR nightmare. Remember that infamous Forbes Women's Summit where Blake spoke about her desire to have authorship and agency over her projects? At the time, it was seen as an empowering statement from a woman taking charge of her career. But now, in light of everything that's come to light, that speech is being re-examined under a very different lens. Critics are now pointing to Blake's own words as evidence of her allegedly manipulative behavior. In one segment of the summit, Blake described how she would initially present herself as just an actress, only to later assert her control over a project once she was already on board. "I guess I'm just like a Trojan horse," she said with a laugh. Yikes. That comment hasn't aged well, especially now that Justin Baldoni's legal team is using it as part of their argument that Blake tried to take over the creative direction of It Ends With Us.
And that also, they say, includes us responding in the public to the montage dancing video that we put out. Why? Because, quote, the Lively Parties Council publicly described the contents of video footage relating to Miss Lively's allegations as damning. Their statement continued, any woman who's been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Miss Lively's discomfort.
But wait, there's more. Justin's side has also released video footage from the set of the film, which they claim disproves Blake's allegations of inappropriate behavior. The raw footage shows the two actors rehearsing a slow dance scene that was meant to be romantic and intimate. According to Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, the video clearly demonstrates mutual respect and professionalism between the co-stars. However, Blake's team has fired back, claiming the footage actually supports her claims. They argue that Baldoni's unscripted actions during the rehearsal, like touching Blake's face and making comments about her appearance, were inappropriate and crossed professional boundaries. It's a classic case of he said, she said, but with video evidence that's open to interpretation. And let's be real, in today's hyper-polarized climate, both sides are using this footage as ammunition to sway public opinion.
Creepy Baldoni. getting close to her, obviously making small chatter not in character so as not to make the scene, which didn't require dialogue, awkward.
And speaking of public opinion, it's not just Blake and Justin who are under the microscope. Ryan Reynolds is now facing heat for allegedly mocking Baldoni in his latest film, Deadpool and Wolverine. The character, Nice Pool, who sports a man bun and makes passive-aggressive comments, is widely believed to be a not-so-subtle jab at Baldoni. If that's true, it's a bold and risky. Critics have pointed out that using a major film franchise as a platform for personal vendettas is not only unprofessional, but also incredibly petty. Ryan's legal team has remained tight-lipped about these accusations, but the internet is having a field day dissecting every frame of the movie for hidden digs and Easter eggs. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni isn't exactly sitting quietly on the sidelines. He's filed a massive lawsuit against Blake, Ryan, and their publicist, claiming they orchestrated a campaign to ruin his career. The lawsuit alleges that Blake's accusations were part of a calculated effort to distract from her own controversies and shift the focus onto Baldoni. His legal team has even gone so far as to subpoena phone and internet records from multiple parties, including telecommunications giants like AT&T and Verizon. According to them, these records will reveal the full extent of the alleged smear campaign, including who was involved and how it was executed. If they're right, this could be a game changer.
But yeah, it's just getting super nasty, and it seems like he's not cowering to this attempted gag order.
Yeah, I don't really understand Blake Lively's point here.
At the heart of this legal battle is a fundamental question. Who's telling the truth? Both sides have presented compelling narratives, each with their own set of evidence. But the more you dig into the details, the murkier things become. For instance, Blake's lawsuit includes allegations that Baldoni fat shamed her on set, while his team counters that he only inquired about her weight because of a back injury that required careful lifting. Similarly, Blake claims she was subjected to inappropriate comments and behavior, while Baldoni insists these interactions were taken out of context and blown out of proportion. It's a tangled web, and untangling it will likely take years of litigation and millions in legal fees.
This tool of a lawsuit or whatever to get it into the public atmosphere, and now you're not going to allow me the chance to respond in the same avenue?
And let's not forget the ripple effects this trauma is having on their respective careers. Industry insiders are already speculating that Justin Baldoni's career may never fully recover from this scandal, regardless of the outcome. Reputation management experts have pointed out that entertainment companies are unlikely to take risks on someone embroiled in such high-profile controversy. On the flip side, Blake and Ryan are also seeing cracks in their seemingly unshakable brand. While their legal team fights tooth and nail in court, their public image is taking a beating, and it's unclear if they'll be able to rebuild the trust they've lost with fans and colleagues alike. So where does all of this leave us? Well, one thing's for sure. This story is far from over. As more evidence comes to light and both sides continue to dig their heels in, it's clear that the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Blake and Ryan succeed in controlling the narrative, or will Justin Baldoni's legal team expose the cracks in their carefully constructed facade? And most importantly, how will this scandal reshape the way Hollywood handles allegations of misconduct and retaliations, Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're here for more celebrity drama and explosive scandals, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next one.